YouTube. Welcome back to Learn with Earthquake Dude. What's up, everybody? Lesson 10 here, Geologic faults. That's what we're going to learn today. It's going to be an awesome one, so make sure you guys hang tight, grab some snacks, grab some drinks, and enjoy this one because we have a special something at the end. And we've been through this is lesson number 10, so it's time for a quiz eventually. Why am I wearing this hat? I don't know, but we're just gonna do it. So without further ado, make sure you drop a follow on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter if you haven't already, or Earthquake_dude. And let's get the lesson started. So last week I briefly introduced you into into geologic faults, but now let's get into every single type. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of summarizing of geologic faults just to kind of get you guys familiar. Anyways, so strike slip faults. Strike slip faults are mostly vertical and they move horizontally, right? So you can see both blocks are just shearing near you, right next to each other. So they, again, just moving horizontally. And these faults form in shear stress environments, meaning where the the tectonic movement is being just kind of shearing horizontally, right? You get the formation of these strike slip faults. Now, there's two different types. We have a left lateral strike slip fault, and we have a right lateral strike slip fault. Super easy to determine. Again, you just got to look at the blocks and see what direction did the block move. So just imagine yourself driving down the road here in your car, and you're like, oh my god, the fault, the road, where's the road? And you look across the fault and you notice it moved to your left. That's going to be a left lateral strike slip fault. Same thing with the other one. Driving down the highway, and then suddenly the road disappears, and you're like, what happened to the road? Look across it, it shifted to your right, therefore it's a right lateral strike slip fault. And that's all you need to do in order to distinguish the difference between both strike slip faults. Okay, now these are the easy ones, so let's move on to the dip slip faults. Now, just to reiterate, dip slip faults are inclined fractures where the blocks have either moved up or down, so they move vertically. Unlike strike slip faults, which move horizontally, dip slip faults move vertically. And there's several variations of dip slip faults. So let me introduce you to the first one. These are called normal faults. Now, normal faults are when the block, the hanging wall, moves downwards, like you can see in this diagram. Normal faults are generated in extensional stress environments. So when you have the tectonic regimen, just pulling the landscape apart, you get the formation of these normal faults. Okay, and again, when the hanging wall moves down, that's when you get a normal fault. Now, when the hanging wall moves up, that's when you get a reverse fault. Now, reverse faults are opposite of normal faults, and they are actually generated in compressional stress environments. If you take a region and you start squishing it together, you're going to get this fault block to move up and create your reverse fault. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Normal fault, hanging wall goes down. Reverse fault, hanging wall goes up. Now, there are other types of dip slip faults. We have thrust faults and blind thrust faults. Thrust faults are a special kind of reverse fault that is more of a shallowing slope. So you can see the hanging wall still goes up, so it has the same movement as a reverse fault. It's just that the plane of the angle is at a much shallower angle. So it's more of a thrusting upwards, right? Now, a blind thrust fault, it's the same thing as a thrust fault, except the fault doesn't make it up to the surface of the earth. So you can see there's a fault, but it doesn't make it up. That's how it gets its name, blind, right? Because it doesn't make it up to the surface. Blind thrust fault. A good example of this was the 1994 Northridge earthquake was on a blind thrust fault. So, the more you know. Next, we got the oblique faults. Now, these are faults that move both horizontally and vertically. So they have a strike slip component and they have a dip slip component, right? So in this case, you can see here we have a river channel and it's shifted to the left and it went down. So this is an example of a left lateral normal fault, right? So it has both a horizontal component and a vertical component, and that's what makes oblique faults. So you can see that you can get a combination of each one and get about 4 oblique faults, and I'll have them listed for you. Okay, so those are your oblique faults. What is this? When you don't tell your crush how you feel about them. That's your fault. Whoa. Hey, yeah, there was some technical difficulties. I'm not crying, you're crying. Anyways, the faults. So, here are the list of the faults. We have a right lateral strike slip fault and our left lateral strike slip fault as our strike slip faults. Then we have their our reverse and normal faults for our dip slip faults, including thrust faults and blind thrust faults. Then we have the oblique slip faults, which are normal right lateral, reverse left lateral. And I think I forgot one. Just like I forgot her. Anyways. And that's it. Those are your faults, guys. See, why is it? Shifting on. Anyways, that's the end of lesson 10. Please leave any questions you might have. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And since we hit our special lesson 10, that means we're going to have a quiz next week. So start practicing, start learning your faults, because we're going to have a fault quiz next week. Woo! So make sure you guys are here and ask questions. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week for your fault quiz. I'm gonna go call.